Is from Srimad Bhagavatam. This chapter in the third canto is entitled The Activities of Kapila. So, in a few words. So, so Devahuti is a great devotee, and her son is the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, her son instructed, Devahuti's son Kapila instructed her in the science of devotional service, and then he left home. So she was all alone. Her husband had already left before, and now her son also had left her, and she was all alone. She was practicing austerity. Austerity means like, taking some voluntarily inconvenience for the purpose of making spiritual advancement. So many times, like this rising early in the morning, it may be an inconvenience, but Prabhupada would say that, if you want to make spiritual advancement, then one will take the trouble of rising early. Or if we are inclined, if we are badly, conditioned, then we have bad habits, then to give up those bad habits may be like difficulty, especially if those bad habits are not conducive for spiritual advancement. So it's not so easy. You have to work hard. They say habits die hard. Habits die hard means they don't die so easily. Once you have a habit, it's very difficult. And to get rid of a bad habit like smoking or anything, drinking tea or eating meat, it's a very difficult thing. But if we want to make spiritual advancement, then we have to try, and that effort is not often so easy because we are conditioned. Like for an alcoholic to give up alcohol, it's not going to be so easy. But that's where we try our best and take help from Krishna. We pray to Krishna, we engage in devotional service, and because we ultimately want to become pure. We want to become pure at heart. This is the goal of spiritual life, to become pure at heart. And in a pure heart, we can perceive Krishna's presence and we can feel connected to Krishna. So we want to purify ourselves. But how do we become pure? We have to accept the process to become pure. And the process to become pure is to chant the holy name, associate with devotees, read Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita every day, like that. So if we do these activities, then slowly and gradually, it may not happen all of a sudden overnight. But if we do it every day, like we say, little drops of water wear away the stone. So little, every day doing little. And then Krishna will help us also in the heart. He is in the heart. He wants to connect with us more than we want to connect with him. He is very eager. Because we, being the children of God, we have turned away from him and we are suffering. So as a loving father, he is also feeling for us. It's not like God doesn't care for us. He has more compassion than any of the living entities. He is the Supreme Father and he is an ocean of compassion. So, Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu, Dina Bandhu Jagatpate, Gopesha Gopika Kanta. Karuna Sindhu, he is an ocean of compassion. So, he wants to connect with us and help us. Just as every father wants to see that their children are very happily situated, Krishna also wants to see that my children are very happily situated. And just as every father wants to have a loving relationship with his children, similarly Krishna also is hankering for our love. He wants that we love him. That's why in Bhagavad Gita he says, you just do something, offer me something in love. It is not about the offering, but it's the offering of our love, of our heart to him. So he begs, can you please give me some fruit from flower, some water? So this is what Krishna wants from us. He doesn't want anything else, but he wants us to love him. Now we have forgotten uh, God and we have turned away from him. So he wants us to turn back because as spirit soul, we are subordinate and we are constitutionally depending on him. We can never become happy being independent of God because that's our. So if we express our dependence on God, God likes it. God appreciates that. Yes, He's He's connecting with me, and I will take care of him. Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita, many places, don't worry, I will take care of you. I will take care of you. So, so we have to connect with Krishna and also be kind to all other living entities. Knowing that all living entities are part and parcel of Krishna. They are just like me. They are just like me. They are spirit souls, just like me. So in this way, Krishna is very pleased. As Prabhupada was saying that Krishna doesn't like when we misbehave with uh, our siblings. Everybody is our sibling, not only in the human body, but also in the animal species. They are all our um, brothers and sisters, you could say, because Krishna is the father of all living entities. So, would the father like if the children quarrel among themselves? If the no, he wouldn't like. He would like to see that all of them they cooperate with each other. Actually, this is the age of quarrel, and age of quarrel means yeah, quarrel starts because of some petty reasons. Some small things are blown up and it becomes a big thing. Because also we have our false ego. Everybody has our false ego. Everybody has false ego. So that is why small things are, they say you can make mountain out of a mole. So, and because we want to put ourselves in the center, and your center and my center is not coinciding, and that's why there is conflict on a national level, in at a society level, and even in families there is conflict because of this. So Krishna consciousness means to love each other with Krishna in the center. And okay, so we are going to read some. This is something just as a preliminary, but we are going to read the verse now. So Devahuti is saying, or it is mentioned about Devahuti, what she was doing after Kapila left. Her body was being taken care of by so she had support. She had some maids in her house. Her body was being taken care of by the spiritual damsels created by her husband. So it was not that she was alone. Kardama, so her husband had created a big mansion that would fly in the sky. And he had also created so many, so many there, maid servants were there to serve. And since she had no mental anxiety at that time, her body did not become thin. She appeared just like a fire surrounded by smoke. Because she was always in trance, in transcendental bliss, the thought of the personality of Godhead was always carefully fixed in her mind. So she was in love with the Supreme Lord, and she was always thinking of the Supreme Lord. And that's why she was feeling very happy. I'm just going to mute if there is, because I'm perceiving some background noise, but when somebody wants to speak, they can unmute. She did not become thin, for she was taken care of by the celestial maid servants created by her husband. It is said that, according to Ayurvedic medical science, that if one is free from anxiety, he generally becomes fat. Devahuti, being situated in Krishna consciousness, had no mental anxieties. Therefore, her body did not become thin. It is customary in the renounced order of life that one should not take any service from a servant or maid. But Devahuti was being served by the celestial maid servants. So in sannyas, or the renounced order of life, Prabhupada is saying, one should depend on God and not take service from anybody, from a servant or like that. This may appear to be against the spiritual concept of life, but just as fire is still beautiful even when surrounded by smoke, she looked completely pure, although it seemed that she was living in a luxurious way. Because she was always absorbed, so this is what she was being taken care of by the maid servants that had been created by her husband, spiritual damsels. And she was not so thin, although previously it says that she practiced some austerities, right? Yeah. Anyhow, going ahead. So let's see. Because she was always absorbed in the thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, she was not aware that her hair was sometimes loosened or her garments were disarrayed. So she was not worried about her external appearance, how she looked, because she was always absorbed. She was preoccupied with the thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So she was not thinking how she looked, and she was not aware that how her external appearance was. Prabhupada said a few purports back that this body, one who has no remembrance of his body, is not bound to material existence. As long as we are conscious of our bodily existence, it is to be understood that we are living conditionally under the three modes of material nature. When one forgets his bodily existence, his conditional material life is over. So we are not this body is left. And when we become absorbed in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then we don't remember that we have a body like that. We are completely absorbed in Krishna and Krishna's service. Just like mind can also be absorbed like that, right? Sometimes you are absorbed in work and time just passes and you don't even realize so many hours pass by because you are so absorbed in doing your work. Maybe usually it doesn't happen because our mind gets distracted and so many. But when you become fully absorbed in something, then you don't realize how time is passing. Time just passes. So the idea is to become absorbed in the Supreme Lord. So the time in this material body will pass. We all have our span of life in this material body, a certain number of years, and we have to perfect our life while we have this human body. So just become absorbed in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the thoughts of the Supreme Lord, in service to the Supreme Lord. Yeah, then we will become liberated at the end of this life because we'll remember Krishna. Anta kale cha mameva smarana muktva kalevaram ya prayati sabadbhavam yati nashtiyatras. But easier said than done, right? Because our mind is not so absorbed in the Supreme Lord. So that's why we have to hear about the Supreme Lord and force our mind to read the books, to hear about Krishna every day. So, and the more we do that, then more our mind becomes like in tune. It becomes tamed. From being wild, it becomes tamed. If we do it every day, and we beg Krishna for his mercy, Krishna, please help me. I am very helpless in this material existence. My mind is out of control. I am very helpless. Please help me, Krishna. Please help me. That's the mood in which we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It's a cry. It's a cry for Krishna. Cry to Krishna for help. Prabhupada says this is like a baby crying for mother. So we have to cry for Krishna. Krishna, please help me. I am in a very difficult situation. My anarthas are insurmountable. I have so many anarthas. They are insurmountable. I cannot conquer this. Cannot get rid. You please help. Please help, Krishna. Please help. I beg you, Krishna, please help me. I want to connect with you. So like that. The more it's our consciousness. So then the consciousness in which we connect with the Supreme Lord, that's how He reciprocates. Yatha mam prapadyante tans tatheva bhajamiham. So as you surrender to me, I reciprocate accordingly. So we want to connect with Krishna. So she was living, okay, so the next verse, because she was always absorbed, yeah. In this verse, the word Daiva Guptam, protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is very significant. Once one surrenders unto the service of the Supreme Lord, the Lord takes charge of the maintenance of the devotee's body, and there is no need of anxiety for its protection. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Ananyas chintayanto mam, ye jana paryupasate, tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshimam vahamiham. Krishna will take care. If we serve Him, He will take care. And there are many devotees who don't like work or something like a job or something like that. They are just simply engaged in serving Krishna, and Krishna is taking care. Either you're doing service in the temple or you're traveling and preaching. However, whatever you're doing, if you're absorbed in Krishna's service, if you come to the shelter of Krishna, Krishna otherwise also is taking care. Right? For those who are not connecting, or who have not the desire to connect with Krishna, Krishna is also taking care of them by providing all the necessities of life, which they may not realize, but Krishna, God is providing all the necessities of life. So why would Krishna not take care of those who connect with Him? So this is the basis of surrender, that Krishna will protect me, Krishna will maintain me. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam rakshishyatiti vishwash kopatritve varanam atmakarpinya nikshepam sad vita sharanagati. So this is the faith of the devotee. Of course, even with our job and everything, Krishna is only maintaining us because He is giving us the intelligence to do our work. Without, of course, you may say it's my karma. Yes, but the results of karma is also being awarded by Krishna. Everything happens, nothing happens without the sanction of the Lord. Maya dakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetu nanena kaunteya jagad viparivartate. So whatever abilities He says, I am the ability in man. Shabda khe paurusham rishu. I am the sound in ether and I am the ability in man. So buddhi buddhimatam asmi. Balam balvatam chaham. I am the strength of the strong. I am the... So He is providing us. Of course, we desire and Krishna reciprocates according to our desires. Like Prabhupada says, if you want to forget Him, yeah, Krishna is saying, okay, you can forget me, life after life also. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishta matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. This is 15th chapter, 15th verse from Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is saying, I will give you remembrance, I will give you forgetfulness. Everything will come, whatever you want. So He wants us to connect with us, but if we say no, I want to be the enjoyer, I want to be the controller, I want to be the center. So Krishna says, okay, the material world is there, you can. But then because He is a loving Father, He does not forsake us. He comes with us in the heart as Paramatma. He accompanies us wherever we go. Is there a companion who will always be with us? Is there any companion in this world who can always be with us? No. Not our wife, not our mother, father, not our brother, sister, not other friends. But there is one person who will always be with us, and that is Krishna. Because wherever we go, He's there in our heart. And we don't feel like that, but Krishna is there in our heart. So we should think like that yes, Krishna is there in my heart and is in the heart of every living entity. Just as Krishna is with me, He is also with every one of the living entities. And He does not desert us. Even though we may go astray, He will always be. He is ever waiting, ever willing, ever working. He is just waiting that we turn to Him. Ever willing to accept us. No matter what we have done, He is ever willing to accept us. Provided we, connect with Him. We want to connect with Him. Ever willing, ever working. He is always trying to see. He is ever working. Means He is always trying to make a situation for us so that we can come closer to Him. Ever willing, ever working, and ever waiting. So He is waiting. Like sometimes we wait for some friend, right? A friend says, I'll come at 6 o'clock. And you wait for him. It's 6:10, it's 6:15, 6:20, 6:30, it's 7 o'clock, and your friend has not arrived. Then you lose hope. You give up the hope that he's ever going to come. But Krishna, and then we don't expect. So although we have been in so many bodies, in so many lifetimes, and we have not paid attention to Krishna, Krishna is still thinking that, okay, maybe now in this lifetime, maybe he will give me some attention. He will hear me. He doesn't give up on us. Although we have hung up on him so many times. He's trying to dial in. He's calling us, but we have hung up the phone many times. But still he has not given hope. So people of this world can give up hope on us. But Krishna, because He's there, He doesn't give up hope because He is an ocean of compassion. So He always goes with us, waiting for us to turn to Him. So this is the kindness of the Lord. How kind the Lord is. So once one surrenders unto the service of the Supreme Lord, the Lord takes charge of the maintenance of the devotee's body. Therefore, there is no need of anxiety for its protection. It is said in 2nd chapter, 2nd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, that a fully surrendered soul has no anxiety about the maintenance of his body. The Supreme Lord takes care of the maintenance of the innumerable species of bodies. Therefore, one who fully engages in His service will not go unprotected by the Supreme Lord. Krishna doesn't go back on His word. If somebody serves Him, Krishna will give him protection. Devahuti was naturally unmindful of the protection of her body, which was being taken care of by the Supreme Person. So sometimes Krishna may protect, sometimes Krishna may not protect, like in the case of Jatayu. And he was fighting with Ravan. Then his wings were chopped off, and then sometimes Krishna may protect, like Prahlad Maharaj. He was thrown into a boiling oil, thrown off a cliff, in so many ways, thrown in a well full of snakes. But he survived because Krishna wanted to protect him. But He will always protect our consciousness. So we should also pray to Krishna. Krishna, please always give me the right intelligence. So You always protect my consciousness so that I don't become proud, I don't become envious, I don't become angry, I don't become greedy, lust, anger, I don't become lusty. So Krishna always give me protection from my mind. Krishna, give me protection from my mind. because my mind is a rascal. It has all the different, you know, different, what you can say, vices. There are so many vices. Krishna, please protect me. So, in this way, Krishna will, who is in our heart, he will give us intelligence from within. Okay. So, Prabhupada said like that, you may take me anywhere, Krishna. You want to take me to hell? Okay, it doesn't matter. Wherever you take me. But please remind me, you are situated as super soul in my heart. Please remind me to chant Hare Krishna. Like that. So means please engage me in your service. Give me the opportunity to engage in your service, wherever you take me. Because the devotee feels this is so valuable to engage in service of Krishna. This is so valuable. It will give me, why you feel it's valuable? Because it will give me happiness. It will purify my existence. It will purify me of all anarthas. That's why you feel it's very valuable. I'll be very happy. Like we take our job as very important. Why? Because we know without job we cannot pay our bills, we cannot be happy, we cannot be. So we are very attentive to our job, to our financial situation, all these things. Because we have idea that yes, without this I cannot survive, I cannot be happy. So the devotee is convinced that without Krishna, Krishna's shelter, without Krishna's service, I cannot be happy. And that comes from some experience also, and in our life, and seeing others also. That how the devotees who have engaged in Krishna's service are so happy. And those who are not engaged in Krishna's service are so miserable. So, seeing around us, we can come to this conclusion. If we are like observing the world, and so many things we can learn just by observing, and our own personal experience. So we can, in this way, we can, rectify ourselves. My dear Vidura, by following the principles instructed by Kapila, Devahuti soon became liberated from material bondage. And she achieved the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Super Soul without difficulty. So she followed the path given by her son, who was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And by doing that, we can achieve liberation. Mahajana yena gata sapantha. It is said that following the path laid down by the great acharyas opens the door to liberation. So, Mahat Seva Dvara Mahur Vimukti. So, Seva is of two types, Vaishnav, Vapu Seva and Vani Seva. And we have, even if the Vapu is not there, the Vani is there. And we follow the instruction. The instruction Srila Prabhupada gives us in his books. He is speaking to us through his books, giving so many instructions. So, the most important of all instructions is to associate with pure devotees. So, when we associate with pure devotees and other devotees also, it's not like first of all, who is pure and who is not pure, I cannot say from my own contaminated consciousness, because I don't know. But we see those who are engaged in Krishna's service, day in and day out, it says something. Of course, there could be wrong motivation to engage in Krishna's service, but yeah, at least they are engaged in Krishna's service. So in this way, we can see. And like that. My dear Vidura, by following the principles instructed by Kapila, Devahuti soon became liberated from material bondage. But Prabhupada is a pure devotee. Everybody accepts that. Devahuti soon became liberated from material bondage, and she achieved the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Super Soul without difficulty. Three words have been used in this connection to describe the achievement of Devahuti: Atmanam, Brahma Nirvanam, and Bhagwantam. These refer to the gradual process of discovery of absolute truth mentioned here in as the Bhagwantam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead resides in various Vaikuntha planets. Nirvan means to extinguish the pangs of material existence. So we want to get out of this cycle of birth and death once and for all. And this is an opportunity. We cannot become happy in this material world. That's period. That's how it is. Prabhupada says, when one is very convinced that you cannot become happy by material adjustment, in material consciousness, you cannot become happy in this material world. You can become happy if you are Krishna conscious. Devotee is always happy. That's there. But other than that, no matter what I try, death is waiting at the doorstep. Everything will be given up. Everything. So what am I working so hard to establish a material situation, which eventually I'll have to give up? Of course, we want to have some comforts and things like that. But beyond that, beyond a certain degree of, then why am I struggling so hard? Life can end at any time. And if I didn't become Krishna conscious, then what is the gain? So, and everybody is going to pass away in this world. My children and their children, everybody is in this cycle of birth and death. Nobody is going to survive here in this material existence. I mean, in this body, we are all eternal as spirit souls. We don't die, but nobody can stay here. And at any time, we have heard so many examples or so many instances of people where suddenly people have passed away. And if it could happen to them, it could happen to me also. I mean, what is there? Karma, what is in store? We don't know what is in store. So then we should think, yes, my life is temporary. I have few years left in life. Why not try for Krishna consciousness? Why not try hard to remember Krishna, to love Krishna, and put my energy in that, and then make a solution to the problems. Even if I don't succeed fully, Krishna will take me to the next situation where I can resume from where I left off. Neha bikrama nasusti pratyavayo na vidyate svalpamapi asya dharmasya trayate mahatopayat. Any endeavor on this path is never lost. So, any endeavor to become Krishna consciousness yields permanent credit. So, if you do any service in the right consciousness to please Krishna, that means you're building yours. It doesn't matter whether you got success materially or not. That doesn't matter. If you endeavor to do the service in the right consciousness, of course we want to do it with intelligence and everything also. But if we endeavor to do it, we wanted to please Krishna, we wanted to please the pure Srila Prabhupada. And if we try to do that in a right consciousness, then the result doesn't matter. So, to Krishna, he just looks at our endeavor. In the material world, everybody is concerned with result. And they will think you are stupid. If you are working hard and you are not getting result, you are stupid. You don't know. And they judge you by all these material things. But Krishna doesn't. Krishna has different mathematics. Sometimes you may be materially successful, but spiritually unsuccessful. You may do a service, but not in the right consciousness, and you may get the result, but Krishna may not be pleased, because as much as somebody who didn't get the result, but he did it in the right consciousness to please him. So it is all about consciousness. It is not about the externals. So now that doesn't mean like if I have to cook, I cannot say like, okay, yeah, I have to be attentive to the service. I don't know whether I put salt or not. And Krishna is not concerned with this. Yes, Krishna may eat, but devotees will not be able to eat. And if you put double salt, you said, I don't remember, let me put more salt. So we try, of course, then even if after trying, if it is not perfect, and still Krishna will accept it. and devotees will also accept it. So like that, the pure devotees, they will accept it, yes, even though not been successful, but you endeavored. I think one time there is some memory of like that of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, of Srila Prabhupada. Somebody made some halwa or something like that to offer it to Srila Prabhupada. And the taste was not just right, it was just maybe there was too much salt or something like that, whatever it was. And Prabhupada ate a little and then he didn't eat much. Then I think the devotee, he went and he prayed that why did Prabhupada, so he prayed and he ate it fully, even though it was not fully in the. So I think there is some memory like that. So
Vijay, I
yeah,
want to share one thing.
go ahead.
Can you
Yes,
hear me, Prabhu?
yeah, I can hear you.
Ah,
Go ahead.
Prabhu. Yeah. So Radhanath Maharaj went once in Mumbai to go to some devotee visit, invited him for the lunch, and generally they serve all together in a big plate. And Maharaj used to take some medicine after the lunch, so they kept that Ayurvedic medicine also in the plate. And by mistake, Maharaj like started. He didn't realize, and he didn't know. He don't know that medicine, but he, as usually, he mixed, like, he took that one, and everything, like, everything became like a, what you say, sour or some tasteless, like, because due to the bitterness of the medicine. But he didn't complain anything, and he had. And after the prasadam, every devotee started taking maha of Maharaj. That time they realized everything is, like, very bitter, and he, Maharaj, didn't complain anything to them. And they left back to Maharaj went to temple, and after that one only they took the Mahaprasadam, and they realized what they did.
Hmm. Yeah. So yeah, that's the devotees. Yeah, sometimes they just look at the bhav and they just accept. So maybe Maharaj was thinking, yeah, they are offering with so much love and devotion. He didn't say anything. Just like Krishna also is like eating the peel. Of course, we can't eat the peel, but yeah, that's the of the banana.
Yeah,
So
third devotee asked Maharaj, he came to know.
correct. So just as Krishna is Bhavagrahi Janardhan, the devotee also becomes Bhavagrahi Janardhan. And in our day to day language, also we say it is not the thing that counts, it is the thought that counts. So somebody may give you very insignificant gift, but if it is given with love, then it is very valuable to you. So,
And one more incident when Prabhupada and these disciples went to one of the devotees' house, they had put onion and garlic. So one of the devotees told that Prabhupada, there is onion garlic. Now you start eating. You start it. It's okay. They are serving you with so much of love.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we'll continue this. Three words have been used in this connection to describe the achievement of devotee: Atmanam, Brahmanirvanam, and Bhagavantam. This refers to the gradual process of discovery of absolute truth, mentioned herein as the Bhagavantam. The Supreme Personality of God resides in various Vaikuntha planets. Nirvan means to extinguish the pangs of material existence. When one is able to enter into the spiritual kingdom or into spiritual realization, one is automatically freed from material pangs. That is called Brahma Nirvan. Because he is not concerned with this honor, dishonor, and all these so many things. He is equipoised in happiness and distress, honor and dishonor, like that. Because he has transcended that platform. Honor and dishonor is also for the body only. It's not for the real soul. I mean, of course, we honor the great devotees. They pass the respect that we give them uh, to the Supreme Lord. That is that. So, like that. That is called Brahma Nirvan. According to Vedic scripture, Nirvan means cessation of the materialistic way of life. So, what is causing this materialistic way of life is basically we have turned away from Krishna. That's what is causing. So stopping this. Atmanam means realization of the super soul within the heart. So cessation of materialistic way of life is one thing, but then resuming the spiritual way of life. So nirvana means to stop, but then to resume our healthy activities. It's like coming from negative to zero, you stopping unfavorable things, but then you resume your positive things, positive activity. Just like they say, when you are in jail and then you are freed from the jail, that is like nirvana. You are freed from the jail. But outside, when you come out of the jail, you just don't sit outside the jail and do nothing. You resume your activities, the positive activities, right? You meet your friends and whatever, like you do. So similarly, there is cessation from materialism, which will stop your suffering, but then you want joy. Everybody is looking for joy. So you want to have a joyful life after stopping suffering. And that comes from association of devotees, serving in the association of devotees together. That gives a lot of joy. And serving the devotees, one another, like that. Friendship with devotees, living in that kind of environment is so joyful that we feel like, yes, I want to live in this kind of, then that's the spiritual world, where you live in the association of devotees. You're not by yourself, you live in the association of devotees, and it is very joyful. So, otherwise, if everybody has a selfish agenda, then there is no joy. Then everybody will feel, oh, he's trying to put himself in the center. I'm trying to put myself in the center. So, just as I'm trying to put myself in the center, he's trying to put himself in the center. And everybody is trying to put themselves in the center. So, ultimately, the highest perfection is realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is to be understood that Devahuti entered the planet which is called Kapila Vaikuntha. So, Kapila Dev has a planet. There are innumerable Vaikuntha planets predominated by the expansions of Vishnu. So, unlimited planets. All the Vaikuntha planets are known by a particular name of Vishnu. And so that means there are innumerable names of Vishnu because there are innumerable planets and each one is known by a particular name. As we understand from Brahma Samhita, Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam. Ananta means innumerable. The Lord has innumerable expansions of His transcendental form. And according to different positions of the symbolic representation in His four hands, He is known as Narayan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Vasudeva, etc. So where the lotus, where is the conch, the club and the disc are placed, He is known as differently, by different names. There is also Vaikuntha, planet known as Kapila Vaikuntha, to which Devahuti was promoted to meet Kapila and reside there eternally, enjoying the company of her transcendental son. Of course, Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there is a Vaikuntha planet known as Kapila Vaikuntha. The place where Devahuti achieved her perfection, my dear Vidura, is understood to be a most sacred spot. It's known all over the three worlds as Siddhapad. So she attained perfection. The place is called Siddhapad. Dear Vidura, the material elements of her body have melted into water and are now a flowing river, which is the most sacred of all rivers. Anyone who bathes in that river also attains perfection, and therefore all persons who desire perfection go bathe there. So we know when we die, then the air element will mix with the air element, the water element will mix with the water element, the earth element in our body will mix with the earth element, like that. So when she passed away, so all the different elements of her body were different. So that becomes a sacred river. I don't know. Yeah, let's see. My dear Vidura, the great sage Kapila, the personality of Godhead, left his father's hermitage with the permission of his mother and went towards the northeast. So Kapila Dev left his mother and he went in the direction of northeast. While he was passing in the northern direction, all the celestial denizens known as Charanas and Gandharvas, as well as the Munis and damsels of the heavenly planets, prayed and offered him all respects. So, the ocean offered him oblations and a place of residence. So he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are offering all respects. It is understood that Kapila Muni first went towards the Himalayas and traced the course of river Ganges. And he again, what is the source of Ganges called? Ganga Sagar. And he again came to the delta of Ganges, at the sea now known as Bay of Bengal. The ocean gave him residence at a place still known as Ganga Sagar, where the river Ganges meets the sea. Okay. Ganga Sagar is where Ganga flows into the Bay of Bengal. That place is called Ganga Sagar Tirtha, and even today, maybe Gangotri is the place where the origin. And even today, people gather there to offer respects to Kapila Dev, the original author of the Sankhya system of philosophy. So there is a place, Ganga Sagar, and people go there to offer respects to Kapila Dev, who went there after leaving his mother. Unfortunately, this Sankhya system has been misrepresented by an impostor who is also named Kapila, but the other system of philosophy does not tally with anything described in Sankhya of Kapila in the Srimad Bhagavatam. We don't have to worry about what the other system of philosophy is, because it is not bona fide. Even now, Kapila Muni is staying there in trance for deliverance of the conditioned souls in 3 worlds. And all the acharyas or great teachers of the system of Sankhya philosophy are worshipping him. So Kapila Muni is still staying there because he wants to deliver everybody. I don't know if you can see him there. My dear son, since you have inquired from me, I have answered. O sinless one, the descriptions of Kapila Dev and his mother and their activities are the purest of all pure discourses. So we should read this again because we forget. The descriptions of the dealings of Kapila Dev and his mother is very confidential, and anyone who hears or reads this narration becomes a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is carried by Garuda, and he thereafter enters into the abode of the Supreme Lord to engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So this is the Falashruti. Falashruti means after hearing about this, what is the result? The result is that one will become a devotee of the Supreme Lord and go to the abode of the Supreme Lord. The narration of Kapila Deva and his mother Devahuti is so perfect and transcendental that even if one only hears or reads this description, he achieves the highest perfectional goal of life, for he engages in the loving service of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is no doubt that Devahuti, who had the Supreme Lord as her son and who followed the instruction of Kapila Deva so nicely, attained the highest perfection of human life. Okay. So we are on Canto 4 now, the creation of the 4th order. Any comments anybody has? We can read Anand Vrindavan Champu, some pastimes of Krishna. I was hearing one class Amrendra Prabhu gave in Radha Gopinath temple recently. Maybe we can hear a part of that class. It describes the loving relationship between Yashoda and Krishna. And since Damodar month is coming up, it would be nice to hear about the loving relationship of Krishna and his mother. So just 1 minute. We can hear for a few minutes, and then if there is more time, we can read. Since we read for some time, we can hear now. Okay, let me find this. And sorry, I'm
tilak with cow dung and cow urine.
I am playing it in middle, but because I heard it, but you can hear the lecture. I'll send the link later. Okay, I will hear some pastimes. Let's see.
And with soft petal-like fingers, he points. Honeybees
Okay, 1 minute. Can you hear the sound or?
We can hear.
Yes, Guru.
Okay, so let's see.
agitated. It can even break through wood. You give kashta, wood.
So what he's talking about, that honeybee is so powerful that it can penetrate wood. But when that same honeybee lands on a lotus, then it becomes so like absorbed in drinking the nectar of the lotus that even though the lotus will close, he cannot free himself because he becomes so absorbed. So similarly, Krishna becomes so absorbed in drinking the love of Mother Yashoda in the form of her milk. He becomes so absorbed, and then finally he becomes bound, just as the petals of the lotus they close on the bee, and so he's saying that just in the same way, how Yashoda's love binds Krishna. That same Krishna who can rip apart Trinavarth, Agasur, Bakasur, Putana, that same Krishna becomes helplessly bound by his mother's love. So that is the context.
It can cut and make a hole through it when it's agitated. But that same honeybee, tenai vatra na chidhyate ambuja palasha sidhu mattalina. Let it land on the central wall of a lotus flower. Let that honeybee drink the nectar of that lotus flower. Then when the sun sets, the lotus petals will close. And this honeybee has two options. Either fly away and save your life, but that means give up the honey, or continue to drink the honey, and who cares about being alive? The honeybee continues to drink the honey. In the central part of the lotus flower, the petals close. And it is now so intoxicated drinking that honey. It, when angry, can cut through wood. But now when intoxicated, it can't even cut through the soft petals of the lotus flower. Itya aswadya viguda tattvam atulam balye piyenoditam. Krishna taught this principle to the whole world in his childhood. Why? Because he's a bumblebee. When he's angry, he can cut through any wood. Putana, Trinavarta, Shakatasur, Agasur, Bhakasur, Dhenukasur, Arishtasur, any wood. But when he lands on the lotus flower of Mother Yashoda's heart and starts drinking the honey of Vatsalya Ras, he becomes so intoxicated that the petals of the rope during Damodar Lila go around his belly, and he who can cut through the wood of Putana and Agasur and Bakasur now can't even cut those ropes which are like petals because he's intoxicated with the Vatsalya Ras honey from the lotus flower of Mother Yashoda's heart. Tam Damodara Bhringa Bhupa Manisham Vande Yashoda Sutam. We bow down to that son of Mother Yashoda, who is the king of honeybees, who has taught this principle to the whole world. When Mother Yashoda was training baby Gopal, please chant, beautiful verse. Kwa vaktram kwa shrotram kwa tava drigiti snigdha muditaha purandribhistanyam gulikisalayena dhigamayan kvadantatithyuktaha karakamaladhaya vadane smitenaivotpanna mama nata iti Vyaktam avadat. Acharyas have composed that Mother Yashoda would teach Krishna a few things. And then all the motherly gopis would come and test how much Krishna has learnt. So they would come and ask Krishna, Kva vaktram? Kva vaktram means, Krishna, where is your face? So what does Krishna do? Anguli kisalayena adhigamayan. With soft petal-like fingers, he points. Kva vaktram? Lala Krishna, Nanda Gopal, kva vaktram? Kva shrotram? Where are your ears? Krishna says. Kva tava dhrik? Where are your eyes? Eyes. Then they tell Krishna, now very tough question. Kva nasika? Where is your nose? Krishna says. So simple. This is it. Now there's a real tough question, Krishna. Kva danta? Where are your teeth? Now Krishna has no teeth. Only in the mouth. In the mouth there are only 3 teeth. Kva danta? Where are your teeth? Iti uktaha, when asked, Kara kamalam adhaya vadane smite naivotpanna mama na iti vyaktam avadat. Krishna smiled and he said, Mama na te. Mere daat aaye nahi. Which means I don't have teeth. Smite naiva utpanna. They have not come in my mouth yet. As soon as Krishna said like this, Mother Yashoda picked him up. Good boy. It is described Mother Yashoda has so much love for Krishna that when she embraces Krishna, Srila Rupa Goswami writes, it is the mixture of 3 things. By the way, this world is quite an interesting world. Very, very interesting. There is heat everywhere. There is heat outside because of temperature. There is heat in the mind because of anger. There's heat because of envy. There's heat in the throat because of singing and speaking too much. There's heat in the stomach. प्रभु जी आप फिनिश करो तभी तो वो भरेंगे हम. कब से आप बोल रहे हैं? Let that fire be extinguished. You finish quickly, then we'll have prasadam. So there is fire here, there is fire here, there is fire here. There is fire outside. There is also fire in relationships because of criticizing each other, finding faults. There is fire of lust burning in the heart. So it has to be put down. It has to be extinguished. So you have to use something cooling. So the question is asked, what is that cooling, rejuvenating, refreshing coolant that can be used to put this fire out? So Shastra says, Chandanam Shitalam Loke, Chandanat Api Chandrama, Chandra Chandana Yor Madhye. Now the 4th line will come. Chandanam Shitalam Loke. In this world, the most cooling thing is Chandan. But Chandanat Api Chandrama. More cooling than the sandalwood paste is the moonbeams, the night sky. But however, Chandra Chandana Yor Madhye, there is something which is more cooling than sandalwood and moonbeams. For that we have to chant the verse again. Chandanam